All right, let's get right into it. You hear a lot of talk about AGI, artificial general intelligence, right? The far-off future. But look, the real investable shift, the thing that's changing businesses today, is agentic AI. It's already redefining how companies work and make money. So in this explainer, we're going to build a solid investment thesis around this massive shift, with our eyes on 2026. And this quote from Oliver Parker at Google Cloud, it really nails it. This isn't just another app or a software update. He calls it a leap to an AI-first process. Now, for any investor, that phrase should set off bells. We're not just watching a company adopt a new tool. We're witnessing a full-blown business transformation. It's about rewriting the corporate DNA, which means the real money is going to be in platforms that enable this deep, fundamental change, not just the simple add-ons.
So, just so we're all on the same page, what is an AI agent? Well, it's not your basic chatbot. It goes way, way beyond just answering questions. The game changer is that an agent gets the goal, it figures out a plan, and then, this is the key part, it takes action across a bunch of different apps to get that goal accomplished. Think of it like this. You're upgrading from a research assistant to a full-on digital project manager.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question for any investor. Is this just a lot of hype, or is there a real profitable market here? Is actual money following the tech? Let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, this number is pretty wild. A global survey of execs found that 52%, more than half, of companies already using generative AI have AI agents in production. Right now. This isn't some trend that's 5 years out. It's already happening. That kind of market penetration tells you the early adoption phase is in full swing. And here's the kicker. This is the why. Of those companies that are already on board, a whopping 88% are already seeing a positive return on investment. You don't get numbers like that from just cutting a few costs here and there. That kind of ROI, that comes from getting products to market faster, from unlocking brand new ways to operate. For an investor, a number like 88% is a massive signal that this technology is incredibly sticky.
So where's all this value coming from? Well, this chart breaks it down. We see customer service way out in front at 49%, but look how close the others are. Marketing and security tied at 46%, tech support at 45%. What this tells you is that this isn't some niche solution for one department. It's a horizontal platform technology with incredibly broad use. And for an investor, these are your hot zones. These are the proven markets where agentic AI is already delivering.
I love this quote from Francis D'Souza. Generational refactoring. That's a powerful way to put it. It means everything is on the table. The workflows, the processes, the entire tech stack is being rebuilt from the ground up. So let's use that idea to break down exactly where this refactoring is creating those investable opportunities. All right, our first major investment vertical, agentic workflows. This is all about transforming the internal engine of a company. How work actually gets done behind the scenes. Here's the fundamental change, the big idea. For our entire lives, we've used instruction-based computing. We had to tell the computer how to do every single step. Now we're shifting to intent-based computing. An employee just states the desired outcome. They say, hey, onboard our new supplier from Germany and get their first invoice paid. The agent handles the rest. It sends the forms, translates documents, sets them up in the payment system, confirms it's done, all without a human guiding each step. This isn't just a productivity boost, it's a massive change in a company's operational power. A really good way to picture this is as a digital assembly line. Instead of one person manually dragging a task through every step, like processing a purchase order, you have a whole system of specialized agents working together, overseen by a human, running the whole process from start to finish. This is where those massive efficiency gains are being found, and it's a core reason enterprises are jumping on board. Okay, so that's the internal engine. Let's pivot to our second vertical and look outward, to the customer. How are agents completely flipping the script on customer experience? I mean, we've all been there, right? Stuck in a loop with a pre-programmed chatbot that can't understand a simple request. Well, that whole era is coming to an end. We're moving to what you could call a concierge-style agent. This is an AI that actually remembers who you are, it knows the context of your last conversation, and it delivers a genuinely personalized one-to-one experience. It's a total game changer. And the market data backs this up completely. Remember that chart? At 49%, customer service is the #1 adoption area for AI agents. And why is that? It's simple.
Because improving the customer experience has a direct, immediate, and massive impact on revenue and loyalty. That makes it an absolute no-brainer for any CEO. All right, on to our third investment vertical, agentic security. For any big company, this is non-negotiable. We're not just talking about being more efficient here. We're talking about reducing massive risk and building a real competitive advantage.
And again, the numbers show how important this is. At 46%, security operations is one of the top use cases right out of the gate. That tells you that executives don't see this as some cool new toy for efficiency. They see it as a mission-critical part of their defense strategy.
The big sell here is the move from being reactive to being proactive. It's moving from passive to active defense. So instead of security teams getting buried under thousands of alerts they have to manually sort, agents are out there proactively finding vulnerabilities, prioritizing the real threats, and even helping with the investigation. It makes your security team smarter, faster, and way more effective. Okay, so for the final piece of our thesis, let's talk about the big question, scalability. How does this actually work across a company with, say, 100,000 employees? Well, the key isn't just the software, it's the people. It's about creating an entirely new kind of workplace. And this is absolutely crucial. The companies that will see the biggest returns are not just the ones deploying agents, but the ones that are seriously investing in upskilling their people. See, the role of an employee is fundamentally changing. They're no longer the doer of tedious, repetitive tasks. They become the strategic orchestrator of these powerful agentic systems. From an investor's point of view, you want to bet in the companies that get this right. So let's tie this all together. Let's distill it down into a clear, sharp investment thesis looking out to 2026. What are the key takeaways you need to build a portfolio around this agentic AI revolution? Here it is, plain and simple. First, this isn't a someday thing. It is happening now. The adoption and ROI data are undeniable. Second, the return on investment is real, it's proven, and it's huge, with 88% of early adopters already seeing a benefit. Third, your investment focus should be on those three key verticals where the value is exploding: internal workflows, customer experience, and security. And finally, the fourth pillar. Long-term, the biggest winners will be the companies that understand that true scale comes from investing in their people, upskilling them to manage this new reality. So we'll end with this thought. This move from instruction to intent, from human doer to human orchestrator, it really is a fundamental refactoring of how business gets done. The data shows it's here, it shows it's profitable, and it's scaling fast. The only real question left is your portfolio ready for it?